Oof. Oof. Oh man, I am sore, dude. I'm friggin' tired. Nice day
Yeah,
at tennis though.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
On After our live stream, for some reason, could not go to sleep, and then it was like, oh, I have a little bit of stromboli that I can finish for dinner because I forgot to eat dinner during
Mm.
the previous stream. So then at like 1 a.m. went down the stairs, missed the last step, overshot, and then fell down the one step and landed toe first full weight, so my toes jammed. So I've been dealing with that all week where I'm like, I can't walk.
What?
Okay, now I can walk, but it hurts. Okay, now I can walk
Bro.
normally, but if I do anything weird, it hurts.
How was the Stromboli?
Twas good, twas good.
I was gonna say it turns out
I can
like your brother finished it or something. Like it's just gone.
no,
It doesn't even
my
exist.
so the my thing is because first for a while, or I've been like, oh yeah, during the weekends I'll make it a stromboli because I take the cooking sheets we have that are like this big, and I'm like,
Mm.
I'm going to make a stromboli that is basically the cooking sheet, and just let whoever wants to cut off pieces of it cut off pieces of it because you can just and my mother did this thing that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start doing that too, where she'll just take a strip that's like this big and cut it off and then eat it like a churro, and I'm like, that's really good actually.
That does sound good. What am I gonna eat after this? Well, we'll figure it out after this. We've got
Yeah.
quite a handful of things to cover with you guys. We have had a lot of spoilers for a lot of separate sets and a few changes to the game that we haven't really discussed on the channel. This actually came about with The Hobbit. It is in the thumbnail, and it's a change to mana abilities. It's the first thing we'll cover, but we're also going to be discussing some speculative bans, unbans. We discussed the RC's previous ban unban announcement, which was nothing, if I remember correctly. I remember they
It was
discussed
Lutri. It was
potentially.
just Lutri is
Oh yeah, yeah,
unbanned,
yeah.
but he's
Banned
he's
as
unbanned, but he
companion.
can't be a companion. Yeah, yeah.
So sorry, but yeah, banned as companion, playable as commander, and then nothing else. And then they hinted at potentially unbanning Grizzlebrand, which would be fun.
Bad.
Banned as commander, put in the 99. You still probably running the hell out
No,
of it in the
it,
99.
it,
That's kind of where it
the
wants
thing
to
is,
be.
if the RC unbans Gristlebrand, the first thing I'm doing is building an old Stick Fingers deck where the only creature is Gristlebrand, so you can 3 mana entomb Gristlebrand every single game, and then go, okay, he's engraved, reanimate him turn one, draw a deck, try to go into a win. Dumb.
It's good.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
It would
Scary
be
idea.
good. All right, guys. So that's the second topic of a discussion. Then we're going to go into
Mystery
Mystery
Boosters,
Booster.
then Reality Fracture, then Star Trek. We're just kind of
Yeah.
going over everything interesting so far because we basically been given like a full set's worth of stuff to talk about already just in the interim.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about everything so that everything's kind of covered and it'll hopefully make it easier later on.
I guess it makes sense that crop rotations in Game Changer. I totally forgot. Pretty much every tutor is in Game
Yeah.
Changer. Pretty
Yeah,
much every tutor.
everyone had a tutor.
Is personal tutor in here?
No, that's the only one that's not because it's very restrictive and it's timing restrictive. I think Sylvan Tutor is not in here as well. It's the instance.
And it sucks. All right, let's start with the big to do. This changes a few cards. Do we want to just you want to give the TLDR actually on 605.1A?
So, long and short, mana abilities that interact with the library are no longer mana abilities. And by that, it is anything that draws you a card, mills you a card, and I think potentially scrying and surveilling and stuff like that would also count. It's if something would leave the library, is how they stated it, but I think it could be argued that it's just messing with the library.
Yeah.
They're no longer mana abilities. Um, I don't know if we have a ability that's like Mega Green and Scry or anything like that, but
Hmm.
drawing, milling, and then putting cards from library to hand are now considered non-mana abilities, even if they produce mana. So, Chromatic Sphere is one of the major ones. It's the two main things that people brought up is Chromatic Sphere and the Group Hug Selvala. Those are the two things mainly
Yeah.
affected by this.
The
Chromatic
Celesnian one.
Sphere,
It they actually have it here.
yeah,
Here, guys.
Chromatic Sphere is 1 mana, and you can pay one, tap it, sacrifice it, and get 1 mana of any color and draw a card. This is known in like KCI and Artifact decks. People know about this card. It's existed for a while. Um, and with that, the downside is now your opponents can respond to you cracking it, and then you don't have the mana yet, and they can do something to mess with you. But the upside is you can copy it now. So if you have any random effect like that mono blue go-go, or if you have what is it, Rings of Brighthearth, you can now copy Chromatic Sphere to draw more cards. So you're paying a little bit of mana and then getting different mana, but then drawing cards.
Yeah,
Uh,
for whatever it's worth. I mean, I think that that utility is there. How many effects say copy ability? Just if you activate an ability, copy ability, because that's probably the best.
there's a good amount, but a lot of them are tap, copy, and activated ability. Um, so it's not like you're gonna go infinite with them.
Right.
There's the red, that one red commander that's copy and artifact ability that isn't a mana ability when you activate it, just by paying a red. So that's just more draw with this, but that's not very strong to begin with. People aren't really playing that.
Yeah.
But there's a couple decks that will be happy to use Chromatic Sphere to draw an extra card. But that Sylvala kind of got buffed. So the downside with Sylvala is your opponents can top deck tutor in response now. Before they couldn't. So that kind of sucks. However, you can copy the effect now with illusionist bracers and other effects that just say like tap copy the effect, like uh Peter Parker's camera and things like that. So with Sylvala, you can actually do work. You can draw a good amount of extra cards. You can get a handful of extra mana. Pretty neat. Um, there's potentially like more storm stuff you can do with this Sylvala. I know that this is a cEDH deck that has existed for a while, but it's been on the fringes for the entirety of its existence. But
Yeah.
kind of buffed, kind of nerfed, kind of buffed.
Just want to see what art there is for this. Is it worth? Is it worth jumping into?
Didn't
Wow, there's
Didn't that
actually
Sylvala have like the really, really pink portrait art? Wasn't that the?
no,
Oh no, that was OG
no.
Sylvala that had
That
it.
was the one
Yeah,
I liked. So there is a really cool secret lair one, actually, which is like two wolves or dogs. It looks dope as hell. I've always wanted to
yeah.
play this. I've built versions of this years ago. This is a very old commander. God, from Conspiracy. Yeah, it's had plenty of reprints, but only one dope looking art. So get your hands on that if you want to play a Savala that might be on the up and up. The effect is good. It only generates green though, and mind you, a life. You gain a life. That is relevant in some cases. The draw effect is pretty solid though. Kind of cool to see a potential bump on that. They list a majority of like the cards that are hit with this. All the eggs, Charm Pendant, Deranged Assistant, Milliken effects in general.
I
Um,
think they named all of them. I think that short list is literally all of them because I tried to find more and I couldn't.
Facts. What did they say?
I believe so.
This is a short list of cards below that have abilities were previously mana abilities and no longer fit the criteria. Those abilities are no longer mana abilities
There's
and must, yeah.
probably that.
Yeah, so I mean, not a huge change, minor change, but something notable, especially if you do run the KCI combo. Again, it was, like Will was suggesting, great because it was uninteractable. You were just producing mana and then running through these effects. That's not the case anymore if Sphere is a part of your combo, which, I mean, it likely was, but it's a pretty convoluted combo anyway, so I don't know if you see it on like the high end in a competitive commander setting, which is what we usually discuss here. So not too problematic. I think that's the major change. I like this example they give you of Pan Glacial Worm. I'll leave a link to the update in question in our description in case you guys want to look at it as well.
Good old cEDH staple Panglacial worm.
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean, what
I love that that is
Ratted
now actually
Drabic?
kind of considered. Yeah, Ragadraga. Yeah,
Yeah, Ragadraga. Sorry,
I
Ratted
love
Drabic is
that.
the Orzhov dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Mana
yeah. The
ability
skeleton guy.
change. Okay. So yeah, that's there for you if you guys want it. And moving on, we have game changers. So we should be expecting an announcement for cards moving to the game changer list, things being banned and things being unbanned. Where do we want to start?
So we'll go over the game changer list and things that we think would either be banned or
Oh,
removed entirely from the list off of that,
I forgot.
and then we can go over
Biorhythm
the
did.
banned cards that we think.
Oh, sorry. Biorhythm did actually move down to game changer, right? That was another thing that
Yeah,
moved.
yeah, that was yeah. I think that was one of the things that happened with Lutri.
You're right.
Um, we
That we
are getting
notably
a ban
added to a
unban
deck.
announcement.
Oh, sorry. We
Oh,
that we notably added to a deck. I just remember we had.
yes, yeah, we did.
But anyways, sorry.
We
It is
are we
notable.
are getting a ban announcement in fall. I think it's going to be October because the past two that have been in fall have been in October. So tentative, this is happening in October. But going over game changers, anything strike your fancy? Something that you think will be either banned or removed from the list entirely, Patrick?
I mean, nothing that's egregious, honestly. I feel like everything that's sitting here now is kind of fine. All the tutors make sense. We just want to limit the amount of playable ones. A lot of the stuff is sort of like, I mean, things like Mishra's Workshop, you're just kind of like priced out of even playing it in a lot of cases for a lot of people. I think Bowmasters deserves to be here. Frankly, I'm happy with things like Dockside just straight up being banned. I know people would like for it to be at least in a competitive setting. I don't think we need it. It was kind of a really big offender because the decks that like leveraged it and had fun with it, what was that one Jund dragon that
Oh,
people liked?
Corval.
Corvold, yeah, he leveraged it really well. That was neat. Kenrith just did it better. And there's like a bunch of like five color decks that just did it better and just had a field day with that card. Right. So like if you played one, your sort of generic my commander draws deck, you are always going to do better with a Dockside than anything else. In
Yeah,
fewer colors. So it's like one of those cards that doesn't really benefit people in a mono to dual color setting or even trip color, which are cards
Godo
I
and
would
Magda
rather see.
disagree.
Huh? Was that?
Godo and Magda disagree.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, Godo.
The two very specific exceptions, only because one just says get to 11 mana win, and the other one says get to 5 treasures and win, which are two things Darkseid helps with.
Did they
Only
get a new?
exceptions.
Did they get a new ritual? I mean, not as good as the Dockside,
Yeah, we
but
get the
didn't
4 mana one that makes a red for each treasure your opponents control.
each treasure or artifact?
Or sorry, artifact.
Yeah, I mean that's still like again, it's not as good as Dockside, but I think that was their way of like providing a Dockside that was tempered. And frankly, we would probably see it off of artifacts more than we would enchantments, which was the other dumb thing about Dockside is the fact that he's immensely tutorable. He's only 2 CMC, and he also hit enchantments. And frankly, you'd hit like 1 to 2 of those as well with your artifacts, right? Like Heuristic Study, a Carpet of Flowers. There was always
Yeah.
something. So I'm honestly happy with where it's at. I think most unbans that went to game changers can come off. Yeah, like braids, right. So mono black braids we passed earlier. Panoptic mirror, biorhythm. You're saying they can come off the game changer list? At this point, frankly, I think biorhythm is so costly that if in a world where you're leveraging it, you're probably post infinite or like have a lot of mana or have a lot of thing where it's not like such a huge offender. So yeah, I agree with you. Frankly, that's not so bad. Braids, we did make a deck for. It was fun.
Yeah. I
I
think Braid's going to stay a game changer only because it's an unfun effect, which they do want to prevent people from just going like Braids is my commander. It's the same reason why Turgrid's still here.
mhm. Yeah, it's interesting. Coalition victory. It's not as well. Yes, it's a one card win con in a very specific situation. I don't know, bro.
It's fine. Like I would be less surprised about Coalition victory being removed, or I would not be surprised if Coalition Victory got removed because yes, it can just go, oh, I drew a thing, I win. But
Yeah.
a lot of the time, people are going to go, oh, you're playing a Coalition Victory deck. We need to keep either specific lands or your commander off field to try to fight against that. People know that you're going to be going for Coalition Victory after game one.
Yeah.
So in casual, it's fine. People know to play around it. People try to deal with it. I my opinion is Coalition Victory is probably coming off the list. Biorhythm's probably coming off the list. Panoptic Mirror is probably coming off the list because it got unbanned and no one uses it. It's not a bad card, but it's
No.
just not as crazy as it used to be. Um, and I think one other card, and I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna filter into the meme that I have cultivated. Seedborn Muse. Seedborn Muse can come off the ban list. I know that it's a fan favorite card. I know that it can do a lot of work in very specific decks, but it's very specific decks. As a general card, it is not a game changer. In the right decks, it's a game changer. But it by itself is just a fine card. It doesn't need to stay on the list. I don't think that really changes much. And one thing I'm gonna have is a hope. I want them to ban Thorkel, man.
Yeah.
Free us from the cEDH that we've been in for the past several years. Stop letting these stupid, really easy 2-card combos exist.
Yeah, I'm honestly fine if the Oracle got banned and the sort of de facto win con of every deck that includes blue was dialed back to Laboratory Maniac or, Lab Jace. Like those, even those were simple wins, but not as simple, right? Like you did need to leverage some line of play before Labman was like an accessible win. I guess you could rip your deck with Tainted Pack, and if your commander draws, you could leverage Labman to get that last draw. But there are more points of interaction, and it's a more engaging game than Thassa's Oracle, Demonic Consultation, or Tainted Pack. I would be totally fine if that was added to the ban list. I think it would make games more interesting in a cEDH setting. I would also really like to just see Paradox Engine move to the Game Changer, because I think it's
I
like,
would be happy.
huh?
Well, that's a good transition that we can go to the bans
Yeah,
that I think are going to get unbanned.
yeah,
I
yeah.
do kind of want Paradox Engine unbanned as well. The only reason why I think it won't be, it is considered an unfun mechanic because if you don't build your deck right, or if you're in an awkward position, you don't win the game and you just take a 20-minute turn. I
Right.
understand why they have it banned. I disagree with it being banned.
Oh, oh. Actually, Carl, I want to go over that in a second. Um, exactly. So with the way the bracket system works, unfun cards aren't really accessible in lower bracket tiers, right? So I want to state I do frankly believe that the Commander format is a majority casual format. I think most people that play Commander just looking to have a nice social outing, sling some magic, not high level, not to the competitive level that I mean we aspire to build decks for on this channel. I don't think that I think we're like maybe 1% of players that actually care about playing this game hyper competitively and get joy out of that. And we'll leverage something like Paradox Engine to great effect and have fun with it. But a majority of casual minded players won't even technically be able to play this, right? Because you're not permitted to use game changer cards. Like bracket 3, you can use up to 3. Is that accurate? So,
Correct.
I mean, this could be on your list, but it's like if you're limited to 2 tutors in this, like how effective is your game? And like frankly, your friends will know what you're doing, so it's like you're not going to be as egregious with it. I'm sure there's going to be a deck you could pilot in bracket 3 that like slams people, but if that's what you're doing, then just don't play with that person, I guess. I think it would be fun. It definitely, the decks it benefits are not the decks that are dominant, if that makes sense. Maybe Kinnan would enjoy it. Would Kinnan enjoy it? I think that it would just help a lot of decks that are sort of underplayed, frankly. Paradox Engine,
Um,
Seedborn Muse take too much time and time equity to be suitable at bracket 2. Yeah, well, I don't think they would be bracket 2 playable, though.
well, with Seaboard Muse, I'm saying off the list entirely. So
Oh,
I think it's fine in bracket two because it's like, okay, it makes your flash deck better, it makes your activated ability deck better. Yes, it can make some bracket two games a bit slower, but it doesn't really slow down the game too much, other than that person going, I'm untapping with everybody else. With Paradox Engine, though, keep it on the Game Changer list. Never take Paradox Engine off the Game Changer list because, yes, that would be atrocious in Bracket 2 where people aren't doing definitive engine things that would
yeah.
actually close out the game.
Yeah, it's quite a good card. It's interesting.
Oh, and
We could talk
banning
about if
the Smothering Tithe, Aristic, and Necropotence as well on that previous comment.
I don't.
Smothering Tithe, I kind of like the idea of banning that for casual just because it's a nuisance of a card where it's just do you pay the two, do you pay the two, do you pay the two?
Right.
Ristic Study, same thing, but it's ridiculously strong. Necropotence, I would ban Ad Nauseum before I would ban Necropotence. Only because Ad Nauseum does more egregious things, and Necropotence is just a very good card. But I ban Nas before Necro.
Right. And Nas is on the game changer. I believe Necro's on the game changer, right?
Yeah, they're both. They're both.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm surprised Rozaketh isn't a game changer as well. That was I keep forgetting that it's not a game changer.
Mhm. Bracket 2 is your favorite bracket. Honestly, bracket 2 is probably a fun way to play this game. Like I think I we should probably do more bracket 2 lists like just for casual nights. You also save a little bit of money because like you won't be. Well, I mean, wait, are fetch lands on here? No, you'd still be playing fetch lands, so maybe
Well,
not that much
the thing
money.
is, like, you can still build like you can just not run fetch lands and still make a really decent mana base that's
Yeah.
pretty budget. Because in two color decks, you don't need fetches. In at least in casual, because you can run a bunch of lands that will enter untapped and tap for both of your colors. It's pretty easy and pretty common. I've done it on a $20 budget for a couple different decks, and
Mm.
it is very doable to do that now. Um, but talking about things that might get unbanned. In white, maybe Iona, but it's banned because it makes you need to think about how decks are being played and or how decks are being built, which is kind of toxic, and that's the reason why they kept it banned. And I completely support that. Uh, Talking about an oldie though, Flash. Flash can be unbanned. I know we've had the whole discussion of like, but we banned it because Flash Hulk before, but people have played cEDH and said, let's play pod where we just unban Flash and see if it is a problem. It's fine. Thoracle is more of a problem than Flash. If you remove Thoracle, Flash piles get a lot worse because you need to have Flash and Hulk in hand and not draw into like a pile of three specific cards. And even if you do those things, there's still an opening where people can respond to your line with just a kill spell.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Flash could probably be unbanned now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's really not. Even when it was played, there's more points of interaction. It's not like you win on the spot when it gets hit, right? And like the Hulk piles depend on like the colors you're in, and some of them aren't even that good. And a lot of the times, the stuff that you're building into your deck, like they're stuck in hand, like that was just like a dead draw for the turn, pretty much. So it makes for honestly awkward deck construction. So I never really cared if people were running Flash Hulk. Yes, you can win out of the blue very quickly with it, but I mean, it's the same issue we're having with Thoracle and Tainted Pack, right? Like if you have that in your hand and the mana
Yeah.
to do it, you might as well just rip it, right? To see if you fail. But the good bit of news is when you do that, at least your deck isn't filled with like shit that you probably wouldn't be running in the deck unless it was for Hulk. So I never really cared about that. Like Will said, it could probably go to the game changer and that'd be fine. And the guy right next to him, I kind of want to talk about. I don't think he's going to move off the ban list, but
Oh, Golos.
yeah.
People have talked about Golos for a while. I loved Golos. The second that I saw that he existed, I pre-ordered I think like 5 copies of him because I'm like, this guy is strong and probably going to be a problem. A lot of my friends asked why I did that. I played a casual version of the deck against friends where I'm just like Wooburg, good stuff and kind of lands and flicker and yada yada yada. And my friends like you're going in too many directions. That's not going to work. And then we're horrified to see how well the deck worked.
Yeah.
Um, Golos was a great dumb fun commander, but because he ETB ramped you, he basically paid for himself every single time. So there was never a way to actively stop Golos. He might stay banned, but he could potentially get unbanned. I would like to see him unbanned though.
He would be fun to play again, but I don't know, like are there just strictly better 5 color decks, or is, I mean, he's just generically good. He is just generically good and is an
Yeah.
outlet. Um
Outside of like cEDH combo stuff, if you just built a deck that was just your commander doing his thing by himself, I think Golos is the best Wooburg commander. With Kenrith, you can draw cards. With the Supreme Scroll, you can draw a lot of cards, make a lot of walls. Najila makes a lot of 1/1 warriors. Golos just lets you go through your deck really quickly while ramping
yeah.
very effectively, and requires no color fixing to do any of that. He's just
Yeah.
colorless.
Yeah. That is the best part of him. I don't know what it is, the scout. I never had a chance to really play him. I played against him a bunch, and he was really fun to play against, frankly. It's just a good effect. I mean, nowhere near as good as like Nadu, so far as ramp was concerned.
Yeah.
That shit was egregious. But speaking of ramp, that should be unbanned. I mean, okay, sorry. Let me talk about 2 cards I think would be fun to have on the Game Changer list again because I have really nice copies of them and I don't get to play them. Jeweled Lotus. Would love to see that. I understand why they got rid of it, but it saddens me. And Mana Crypt. I mean,
Yep.
LED exists. I've like ripped LEDs to drop my commander quickly. I won't say it is a good thing to do, but you know, Jeweled Lotus is just that much more effective at it. Mind you, the mana can't be spent on anything else. I don't know of any commanders that just win on the spot, so I do think it is very powerful to get your strategy or game plan into effect. Didn't really feel like the end of the world, but it did make games go faster, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong. The same is true for Mana Crypt, which Golos would love. But Prime Time, why the hell is he on here still?
Well, going for Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus, I kind of like them staying banned only because it makes ridiculously fast starts and less common, which makes
Yeah.
slower strategies work for cEDH, and I like it. Feels healthy, feels better. Um, so I kind of like keeping a good amount of the fast mana restricted. But Primetime though, uh, he's banned because he finds scary lands, but he really does not need to stay banned. Will he be pub stompy in like bracket 3? Probably. But if you're playing a restrained deck where you're just going, I just want to get lands on attack, he's a very good value card. He's a very scary and intimidating card. But so is like a lot of other things like Peer into the Abyss and Razaket the Foul-Blooded, Hoarding Broodlord, so on and so on. Primetime is just a big, good, scary card that could be game changered and it would be fine. Oh,
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like if Golos was unbanned, I'd kind of want to take it just a lower bracket route because it's just generically good and a fun way to like ramp
you
your
don't
deck.
want to build cEDH Golos?
I'm sure it's great. I just, it's one of those
Oh,
things where, hey, Wolf, it's one of those things where the strategies in 5 color are pretty clear cut. And if all I need to do is make infinite mana to win the game, then like there's a myriad of ways I can do that. And the deck construction is going to be maybe 4 to 6 cards different than the next 5 color deck, right? Whereas like a a
I
casual strategy for a Golos and 5 colors, probably do more fun things to conclude games. And that if I'm just trying to have fun with a deck, that seems more interesting.
My Golos cEDH deck was a dork based deck. Pretty much every mana source I had was a dork, and the game plan was you play Golos and you get Guy's Cradle. Then you play Wakeroot Element, or then you Neoform Golos into Wakeroot Elemental, which is the guy that says pay 5 green to untap a land to make it a 5/5 with haste, and you untap your Guy's Cradle and tap it for 6, and you repeat that to make infinite mana, and then you replay your Golos from the command zone, getting Command Tower, and then you use Wakeroot to untap Command Tower infinite times to make infinite mana of every color, and then you put your deck into play. That was the dumb Golos combo of get Guy's Cradle, get Neoform Golos away, win game.
Sounds kind of fun.
Yeah,
But prime time game changer.
I would like seeing him as a game changer. Similar card that is on here that probably won't get game changered is Sylvan Primordial. 7 mana ETB destroy for each opponent destroy up to one target non-creature permanent that player controls for each thing destroyed. This way, get a forest from your deck into play tapped. This is kind of like a more brutal effect with any flicker effect because you just kind of grasp a fate, destroy, not even exile temporarily, things away while ramping. Uh, Sylvan Primordial's probably staying gone for a little bit.
Am I crazy? Where is Sylvan Primordial?
Second page, I think.
Oh my god, there's 2 pages.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
Raphaelos can come off
and
here.
Rafel's is probably fine. I've done math and I'm like, he can get really scary really quickly and could be a problem for casual, but he's probably fine. Because if you just go turn one land and then dork, and turn two Raphaelos, on turn three you're gonna have 6 mana to play with, and turn four you're gonna have 8. And that requires nothing crazy to get that whole setup. Kind of scary considering that you can just do untap storm stuff with him, and he's just kind of going to be better Savala at that point. But it's fine. Like, let people play their Raphaelos. It'll be scary, it'll be pub stompy, but it also will kind of be self-regulated because I think a lot of people are either going to play Raphaelos high cost things, or they're going to just do Raphaelos green good stuff without doing untap shenanigans, and it's fine, or just aren't going to play Raphaelos because they feel like it's not fun.
Right.
Um,
A Shia
going
with
to
Raphaelos would be fun though.
yeah, uh, two black cards that I think could be unbanned though. One, Recurring Nightmare. For those who don't know, it's sack a creature, return this to your hand, and then you reanimate a creature, but only at sorcery speed. This card was banned because it's not very interactive, and we got Chthonian Nightmare as a pseudo replacement. The reason why it's not interactive is you play the card, it enters, you have priority, and you sacrifice a creature and bounce it in one go without anybody being able to interact to reanimate something. So it's just a reusable reanimate that you'll always have access to, and people didn't like it. It wasn't too fun to play against. People usually aren't reacting to your reanimates anyways, and paying 3 mana for reanimate is fine. Yes, there's combos. Yes, there's crazy stuff. Yes, it can be annoying, but it's fine.
Hmm.
There's enough grave hate now that people have ways of dealing with recurring nightmare.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the cards on here there were always solutions for. It's just that people don't typically mainline them, and then it
Yeah,
hits them in the feel bads. Where it's like, ah, you
yeah.
could just like run the. What did people use like for their land? There's like a land based set of exile target opponent's graveyard. What was that one? I remember the art, but I don't remember the name. There was like a skull train on it or something, or a bone train. But there's a couple ways. And there's like a swamp that exiles someone's graveyard. There's plenty of things that you could just put in your decks to handle graveyards. We just don't. Also, recursion isn't really a strategy that people try to counter anyways. It's not really that common. Maybe Razaketh is like the main one you'll see. But like Will said, he's not even a game changer. So, hey, look,
That ain't that cool.
Leovold, Emissary of Trust. That was awful for a couple months. Oh, Nadu was
Yeah,
awful for how long was Nadu not
a
banned?
couple months, like
Couple
2
months.
months, I think.
Commanders can be opted out of playing against its powerful cards in the 99 that cause the most bracket unbalance. Yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
recurring nightmares is like too outrageous. What was the other black card?
It's,
Oh,
so the other black card that I was going to bring up was Yawgmoth's Bargain. This is Gristlebrand, except it's 2 mana less, specifically 2 black pips less, but it's an enchantment, and you don't draw on your draw step, but as a benefit, you pay 1 life to draw 1 card instead of 7 life to draw 7. This card is just worse Gristlebrand. Unban this before unbanning Gristlebrand. Please, please do that. If I'm fine if they don't want to unban this, but if they want to unban Gristlebrand, unban this first as a test to make sure that they're not going to do something stupid. Because if
hmm.
this becomes an egregious card, Gristlebrand is going to be a million times worse.
Yeah. Grizzlebrand is, I mean, if it's attached to a creature, speaking of recursion, man, that strategy will come back into play. If you could just entomb reanimate that ass and draw through your deck, people
That's why I was
would.
saying the old Stick Fingers deck. You just have old Stick Fingers as the commander, Gristlebrand of the 99, and just get Gristlebrand out turn 1, turn 2 every single game and end of the game there.
You should win handedly. You should win pretty
Yeah.
quickly, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yagamont's Bargain is far less egregious than Grizzlebrand. It could probably go on the game changer list and be acceptable. Would love Tinker, but no, we don't need it. And of course, Oswald would love Time Vault. Never gonna happen. Oh man,
Yeah.
is Time
And
Vault
then,
really $1,000? My lord.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Also, the Trade Secrets is a card that I love the concept of existing, but acknowledge that it is never going to be playable because people will do dumb things.
um, we don't need that though. I mean,
Yeah.
I do love the idea of it. I wonder what this was like when it came out in Onslaught, like when people played this. It's a lose-lose situation for the person you're targeting. Like it's only paying 3 mana. I think by the time you play this, you're probably on top mana wise, and you're in blue. So anything they play, you're just gonna counter anyways. This feels like a good card. Any rate, yeah, I think those are the changes I want to see. If there's any things you guys want to see put onto the game changer list that are currently banned, let us know. If there's anything you want to discuss concerning mana abilities, let us know. We can always jump back. But we did cover those two things. I'm happy to move on to MB Commander if you want to talk about
Yeah. So, Mystery Booster Commander, for those who remember the Mystery
it.
Boosters from all the other Mystery Booster things, it's when they take like wacky and interesting elements and kind of make them into cards, test out things that they wanted to put into the game but haven't really been able to find a good place to place them. That's what Mystery Boosters are. Mystery Booster Commander is that, but specifically for Commander cards. Patrick hasn't really gone through a ton of these, so I think I'm going to give like a brief description of each of the cards and the color, and then let Patrick discuss what he finds interesting about it.
Yeah,
But
I'm just highlighting my
he,
favorite one from the set that I've seen. I only
yeah,
know Hoban and Chandler from their old cards, but this is sort of what
yeah.
Will was highlighting. Just goofy shit that you wouldn't expect to see. But it's
This
cool.
this set has been aptly described by the professor as Gavin's way of saying, "There, I did it. Don't at me."
Yeah, yeah.
Because we have so many different commanders in this set that are just like, okay, he did the thing that people asked for. Stop talking about it now.
How? One
So
question.
to
Oh
start off
wait,
with,
sorry. I do want to just look at this really quick. I have one question. How many cards do you think is the ideal number of cards on it for the game changer
oh,
list?
game changer list. I don't think that there's like a set number that should be there
No.
because the bigger the list gets, the more restrictive the game changer list is for bracket 3. So it impacts bracket 3 a lot more. But the more impacts bracket 3 and bracket 2. But I feel like in bracket 4, people aren't really going to care. In
No.
bracket 5, it does. Well, bracket 4 and 5, people don't care at all. but it's really going to impact bracket 2 and bracket 3 because bracket 1 you're mainly making joke deck stuff, and even in bracket 2 and bracket 1 it's acknowledged that you can run game changers as long as you're not using them for the reason why they're game changers. Like if you're playing Necropotence in your wrinkly old dude tribal deck, no one's going to care that you're using that in your bracket 1 deck. It's still
Yeah.
bracket 1.
Anyways, no, I agree with Will. I don't think there needs to be a
Uh,
set number. I think they've done a good job regulating it so far, though. Yeah, I'm excited to see the
uh,
changes.
yeah. Going through the white cards from the set so far, we got Ekvi, which makes all of your equipments into living weapons. We got Grok, which is a enchantress commander that can't attack or block, but whenever you cast an aura on an opponent's thing, draw a card only first time each turn. Navi, which you can sacrifice to make an Acroma, and when your things get blocked, they're removed from combat. You got Saluma, which is one of the rule breakers that says you can play angels of any color and play any basic lands that you want. And when it deals combat damage, you get to reanimate an angel. We have Orzel, which can make a token that basically proliferates all of your commanders. Uh, a minus to get you planeswalkers and planes, and -8 to make a whole bunch of fairy tokens and can be your commander. And then we got Yum, which is 2 mana for a commander that says the first spell you play each turn has assist, and if another player spent mana to cast it, you and that player draw a card. For
Hmm.
those who don't know assist, because this was a mechanic printed in Battle Bond and nowhere else, assist says as you cast a spell, you may choose another player, and that player may pay for the spell with you. Um, but yeah, any thoughts on any of these, Patrick?
I love the idea of Yume. I feel like no one's ever going to assist you, sadly. It's interesting. Can you put a spell on the stack if you don't have the requisite mana to just pay for it yourself, assuming that you're
Yep,
trying to get someone to assist you?
yep.
Uh, how much is a draw worth to you? Like
Well,
one
it's
generic?
less. It's less that. And by the way, it's on each of your turns. So my bad. So it's the thing you
Yeah.
cast on your turn. But if you're just playing a deck that's a whole lot of removal, you can politic your way into so many wins because you're just going, hey, you have 2 mana up. Do you want to play this disenchant so I can blow up their Ristic Study and we both draw a card? Cool. And then you draw another piece of removal that you're going to play next turn and next turn and next turn, and you just get to hold up all of your mana for more interaction.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of collude with people. It'll be a fun, dumb thing, but it's probably going to be bracket two.
Conceptually, I love the thought. I don't know how effective it would be. But the thing I guess, most interested in, because everyone's always looking for fun angel commanders, is Saluma. Shout out to
Yeah.
Winona Nelson, by the way, on the Nivea art. That it's so good. Everything that Winona does is good. But the rule breaker here is really cool. It does it still, this isn't like a 5 color commander necessarily. You are getting basic lands that will help accommodate for some of these angels you're casting. And then the angels can be in any color, but the rest of your deck is still mono white. So it's a little awkward, but the effects on this are really cool. This seems like a very fun angel commander. I don't know that this is the de facto angel commander, but I know people are always looking for new. I mean, I'm assuming that's why they elected to make a rule breaker angel like this, which is really dope.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to fool with this because I've never built an angel commander. That's like one tribe I haven't touched. So that's the
Yeah.
most
The
interesting
thing is,
of these to me.
ignore like the whole rule breaker part of this card. It's a 5 mana 4/4 flyer that reanimates an angel every single turn. That is already really good. Add on top of it that you can run all of your weird Orzhov angels and your Boros angels, and then you can do a lot
Yeah.
of cool stuff with this commander. You can also run basics of any color, but really your City of Brass and Mana Confluence are going to be the thing that's carrying your
Yeah.
mana base more than anything. And fun thing for rule breakers, all of your Vivids and Thriving lands work with this because Vivids just make a mana of any color twice, and Thriving says ETB choose a color. This taps for blank or the chosen color. So those random lands that are horrible are actually a lot more playable with these
Yeah.
decks.
Yeah, I like the idea of like a Mikokoro, or is Mikokoro the one that lets you loot? Any of the lands that
Yeah,
lets
yeah,
you
yeah.
like draw and discard so you can set up for Suluma.
Gaia Reach Sanitarium.
Gyri Sanitarium. That's like, I think that's the big one. Obviously it's
Yeah.
generic producing, but there's 4 generic in this card's cost. So Suluma would be fun to build. Nothing else is really tickling
Uh,
my fancy here though.
People have talked about cool things that you can do with Ekfi, where if you just play Skull Clamp, that immediately draws you 2 cards because you get a
Mm,
1/1 thing that will die instantly and then draw you 2. Also, it does weird stuff where you can do these interesting artifact combos. Because I think on the very first, not the first, but one of the first popular Game Nights episodes, Jimmy was playing a contraption deck where he wanted to make like a big Rube Goldberg machine and then get that to work and win. And part of it was using Living Weapon with conjunction of like 3 other artifacts to go infinite.
mm.
This is a good commander for that kind of deck, and it lets you do some interesting things.
Also, if you flicker
Um,
the skull clamp, but I don't. How many of those flickers work on non-creatures? I guess
like
none.
OG Flicker.
Yeah, yeah. Because I would want to like leverage the crap out of that because it's just ETB. You make the
Yeah,
germ, right, or Phyrexian germ in this
yeah,
instance. Are they always Phyrexian germs? Maybe it's just a Phyrexian germ because of this.
yeah. It's
That sounds
they're
kind of
always
cool.
correcting terms.
Seems
Yeah,
kind of cool.
and Warzel. Warzel is really interesting in my opinion. So note, the fairies don't make this a Selesnya commander. You're still just mono white.
Yeah, that's a reminder.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But that first ability is fucking nuts. And the reason why is white is the color that doubles your tokens. So you will make a lot of those little 1/1 cats. And if you play any other planeswalkers, you're eventually going to get to the point where you just go, I play the board wipe Gideon. I'm going to tap to put 20 loyalty counters on him. I'm going to alt
Yeah,
board wipe Gideon.
yeah. Frankly, honestly, I didn't realize it was each planeswalker. That's kind of dope. Being a mono white Super Friends deck, I would really need to look at what your other planeswalker suite looks like, but it's kind of dope, actually.
And you're probably
This
going to be able to
needs,
find them if you're -1, look at the top 6 and get a basic planes or planeswalker from among them.
bro. This guy would like Jeweled Amulet so bad. That Trip White, he's dying for it. Also, is this Nils art? No, okay. D. Terlizzi. Wow. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. We've seen this. We've seen this man's art. Anyways, want to move on to
Right.
blue?
Yep. So, Difed, Guiding Hand. 5 mana for a Planeswalker that can be your commander. +2, get 2 tapped Power Stone tokens. For those who don't know Power Stones, they tap for a mana, but you can only use it to cast non. So you can't use the mana to cast non-artifact spells, meaning you can use it for activated abilities and you can use it to cast artifacts. -X on tap X artifacts, -6. Put an artifact from your deck into play. Starts at 4 loyalty. Um, then we have a Flitwing, which is just whenever you make 1 or more tokens, you make that many clues instead. We have Grandmother Goba or Gabi, which is Swan. What is it called? Dovescape, but it only works on you and it makes you Merfolk, which is weird. Uh, we have Gutha, which is protection from red, and when you cast your first spell during each opponent's turns, Brainstorm.
Is this
Then we
Gusta?
have
Like
Sash.
Gusta's scepter? Wait up. Sorry.
Uh,
This
you
is
can
one of
look
my
that up, but
this is one of my favorite cards. I'm sorry. Gusta's scepter was tech I used in
that's
Teshar.
oh, I thought that was the 6 mana thing.
No, but Gusta. This is Gusta.
Yeah, that's
I
good stuff.
didn't. No, this character never existed. Well, I mean, maybe it did in some
We
sort of
never had this
supplemental
character pop up in a card
in
before,
a
which is also
card.
half the point of this whole set. It's like, we don't have a card for this character. Here's a card for this
Yeah,
character,
but
such as a
is this what the scepter looks like in action? Sorry, this is one of my like favorite cards in Magic. Period.
yeah.
I think Gusta Scepter is like such an interesting, unique card, and I loved playing it in Teshar, and it has actually won me games, like games that I would not have won unless I was using Gusta Scepter. and frankly, it was just a zero cost artifact to sort of trigger historics in that deck. That's fucking cool. I kind of want to do something with this, even though this effect seems fine. Look at it
Yeah,
later. Sorry,
yeah.
that really caught
It
me
can
off
do
guard.
it can do some interesting stuff. It's cool if you have a way of like flashing out stuff consistently. It's funny because I think Sensei's Divining Top is probably like a decent thing with this if you can give Sensei's Top flash because you can
Yeah,
kind of rig it to constantly trigger it. But
yeah,
Sash and Waistcoat, these guys have apparently a really cool story behind them, but we never got a card for them, and now we do. And they are a really interesting card because face down creatures attacking one of your opponents can't be blocked, and you can pay 3 to manifest the top card of your library. Except anyone may do that, but only at sorcery speed. So everybody gets to manifest, and everybody gets to punch everyone that's not you.
hmm.
And then Tolabo, which was a card that got people to lose their freaking minds. He's also a rule breaker, but he's worded very specifically, which is you may play instants and sorceries of any other one color identity, and you may run basic lands, any basic land. Uh, Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you make a 1/1 red blue otter with prowess.
That's
This is
pretty
specifically
solid.
worded to not say that you can run any color instants and sorceries
Yeah,
because they were like, yeah, no, 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 no. We don't want just a Wooburg instants and sorceries matters commander. That would be dumb. You're two color, but you're any two color.
that's kind of neat, I guess. I mean, the bottom effect is dope.
Yeah. Oh
The
yeah,
bottom
yeah.
effect
It's
is
gonna be
dope.
nuts.
Yeah, I kind of want to fool with that because I love prowess strategies, and whenever I play like a limited, if there's like prowess in the set, you know I'm gonna do some like is it bullshit with prowess. So this looks really
Yeah.
fun. Not to suggest you should make it this red, but there's a lot of support there, so it would be
Well,
good.
I I've gone through each of the colors and I've gone like, okay, what can you do in each of the colors? In white, you can build a really, really brutal control deck because if you just draw a couple cards here and there and then you make
Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple things with prowess, eventually you can just go, I'm swinging at you for 40 out of kind of nowhere. Because if you have 8 of those otter tokens, they become 5 power very quickly and very easily.
Hmm.
Um, if you're doing black, you have some power matter stuff in black that you do have an instant sorcery slot, so you can do some things there. But primarily, you're going to be doing Thorkel. Thorkel's a legal creature, and Tainted Pact and Demonic Consultation are legal cards with this commander.
Yeah, yeah. That
The red,
that kind of bores me. I do love
yeah,
that Skull Clamp is super good in this deck as well. But continue. I'm sorry.
yes. Red, mass haste, mass trample, mass storm, do crazy things. Probably one of the more fun ways of building the commander. And green, probably the most interesting way to build the commander. Simic power matters because if you're casting a lot of things, your creatures are going to be big, so you can go all out just doing whatever untap ritual things that you want to
Oh,
do,
true.
and
Yeah,
then pay
yeah.
5 to draw 10, and then keep going.
Yeah, this would be cool, like greater good Simic Stormy. That's actually really interesting. And like the further you storm, the excess otters just get more powerful. That's really dope, actually. And obviously, there's like Life's Legacy and stuff too. So like that'll pump out more otters that are also subsequently getting larger. Hmm. Simic would be that'd be. Should we just do every flavor of Tolabo one day? It's like way too much, way too much. But I feel like Simic sounds the most fun, actually.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Simic and Izzet are probably the fun ways to build that commander. But
mhm.
anything else tip your fancy with any of the blue guys, Patrick?
No, I'm just upset that Gusta doesn't do anything similar to its namesake.
The staff.
So yeah, it's whatever. Just overcosted, meh, kind of card. Sash and Waistcoat look fun. Talabo looks really fun. Flitwing doesn't excite me, and
Yeah.
yeah, Dyfed seems okay. I would rather play Warzel.
Diefed is a new Chainveil commander. It does go infinite with the
Yeah,
Chainveil.
is it
It's
better
like it's
than Teferi
to
Chainveil?
parry. It's about the same. There's more
Mm,
hoops to jump through, but I've done the math on this, and basically, what you do is you get Chain Veil, replay Dyfed, and then find Chromatic Orrery, and then with Chromatic Orrery, Chain Veil, that's enough to do whatever Teferi does.
mm,
It's like you can stockpile mana with the Power Stone token, so it's not really more mana intensive, but it's kind of more mana intensive. It's a weird commander. The playline is a lot clunkier than Teferi, but it does it at the same speed and same frequency and same capability. It's just explaining the playline is a headache because it's not linear. You can't just say, I go infinite doing XYZ. You have to say, okay, I'm gonna do this, but then on like every like additional increment of 2 when I replay my commander, I'm going to be activating chainmail an additional time on top of that, which means yada yada yada. And there's some mathematical way to explain it. It's just a headache. You can just say I win and people will acknowledge that, but if they have you play it out, you physically have to play it out because there is not a direct that is infinite loop in there,
mm.
and that's the headache of this commander.
That doesn't excite me.
Yeah,
But yeah.
you're infinite. You're infinite. It's just not a loop. You can't just say I do this over and over and over again. You have to say it changes a little bit. So I'm activating Chain Veil 3 times while I replay my commander, then three
Mm,
times, then 4 times, then 4 times, then 5 times, then 5 times, and repeat.
mm,
Sash and Waistcoat though,
yeah.
they excite me the most because one, if you get Training Ground out, everybody's going to be paying 1 to get a whole bunch of manifest tokens out, and 2, you are in one of the 2 flicker colors, so if you manifest an Eldrazi, you are flickering the crap out of that and then making people terrified.
Is this one of the better manifest commanders?
uh yeah, yeah, just because the other ones are also pretty much flicker based. You got Amanatu, you got the Vanifar, and now you got Sash and Waistcoat. The main difference with Sash and Waistcoat is that it's manifesting from top of library as many times as you want in one go. So it's kind of like Thrasios-esque. But Amanatu could do it from top of library, and then Vanifar did it from hand. So it's interesting.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I could see building that. That seems like a fun deck to build. Talabo and him are the most exciting for me so far.
Uh,
Maybe Warzel.
Next. Yeah, Wurzel's cool. Next we got a Urmon, which is a shadow commander that makes your ninjas and rogues have death touch, and whenever a ninja or rogue deals combat damage, you get a 1/1 rat rogue.
Art is
Um,
sick as
we got
fuck. Sorry.
we got
Sick.
we got Uncle Istvan, which is 4 mana 1/3 aggro boy that doesn't take combat damage or doesn't take damage from creatures, and whenever stuff dies, he gets bigger. Uh, we got Koraki, which at the beginning of your end step, target opponent may draw 4 cards. If they do, look at that player's hand. You may cast a spell from it for free and put 2 counters on him. He also has a Menache.
How
So
often? How often is your opponent just gonna wait? Wait, wait,
you
wait.
rip it. To be fair, it's a free ancestral recall, but then you lose your best card.
That's pretty good. If he had
Yes, it's
like, if he had some form of protection, he needs something to just keep him alive to make it more of a nuisance. At 5 mana, I mean, could we give him Shroud? Can we give him something like?
I would want him to have indestructible so that you can go, I'm gonna play your board wipe.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and then keep your hand. Keep your hand. You're gonna discard down later. But yeah, that's kind of that's awkward. Moving on. That's weird. That's a weird
We
card.
got Miss High Water, which when she deals combat damage to a player who doesn't have a contract counter, they may discard their hand. If they do, they draw 7 cards and get a contract counter on it. And as long as they have a contract counter on them, when they lose the game for each artifact, for each thing they control, you get a copy of it, pretty much.
Huh?
So
Huh?
basically, you hit somebody, you let them recycle their hand, and then if they die, you get their stuff after they die.
That's
It's weird.
that's bad.
It,
That's
it's
super casual. That's bad.
yeah,
Even in a
it's an
casual
awkward
setting,
one.
it feels bad.
Well, we got a thematic one, which I love that I have to actually go into detail for all the black ones because they have really interesting ones, but they're
Mm.
horrible. Uh, we got Alinda, or yeah, Alinda. Okay, I got that right the first time. Whenever he enters or attacks, for each opponent, put an odor counter on up to one target creature that player controls without an odor counter on it. Each of those creatures has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 2 life for as long as the odor counter is on it. You make your opponent's stuff stink.
Is this feels like a jab? This feels
I
like an insult to certain gamers.
the thing is, like, it's funny that because there's a whole bunch of old cards in black that say like enchant a creature, and that creature gains the effect of on your upkeep lose 2 life.
Mhm.
So there's a ton of old cards that do this, and they just made a new card that does that, but it's as a counter instead of as an aura. So it's just annoying.
If your opponent is the one with the odor, shouldn't you be losing life? You're having to put up with
That
it.
is true. Yeah,
Like
flavor fail. Yeah.
they wouldn't notice the odor. You're the one suffering. I don't know. Anyways,
Uh, Next, we got a 3 mana commander with an Eminence. At the beginning of your upkeep, lose 1 life. Or, sorry, this deals 1 damage to you. Not lose life, it is damage. Whenever a source you control deals exactly 1 damage to you, or whenever a spell or ability you control causes you to lose exactly 1 life, put a +1/+1 counter on this. If it's the second time this resolves, draw a card. It's an actively bad Eminence effect that becomes good when this is on your board. Um, Funny. That's all I gotta say. Funny.
yeah, don't play it.
And then finally we got a Formal, the Destroyer. 5 mana for a Planeswalker that can be your commander. +2, make a zombie. -0, sacrifice a creature and get 3 black. And then -5, get Pit Lord. For those who don't know Pit Lord, oldie but a goodie. He's 7 mana for a 7/7 flying trample that at the beginning of your upkeep you have to either sacrifice another creature. If you can't, it deals 7 damage to you. Thormal starts on 4. So, thoughts on any of the the black commanders, Patrick?
They are all legendaries, aren't they?
Yes, they indeed are all legendaries.
I don't like Miss Highwater. Kuroki could be improved. Awesome flavor text on Istvan. Love the shout out to Kamigawa with the Rat Ninjas. I think Olinda is a flavor fail. I think Sahir is a way to correct Eminence, and they made it bad. And I really do like Thaumal, actually. Although at 5,
Yeah,
I would rather Tavesh.
yeah. Oh, agreed. Especially considering the fact that you get a tech in 2 colors as opposed to just being mono
Yeah.
black.
Oh, God, dude.
The
Yeah, Tavesh is so good. Tavish is so
Also
good.
one thing I completely forgot to say, and this is another thing for Warzel being even better. Populate white is in populate, black is sadly not in populate. So with Thawmill, you aren't going to be like vomiting out pit lords. However,
Sadly.
you can get out a good chunk of pit lords with Thawmill and do some funny stuff, but it's bad.
Yeah, Lord of the Pit's not legendary. I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, you can make a few of these suckers. Also, if you want to be fun with this deck, like you can get I think he came out in alpha, right? Yeah. I mean, don't buy alpha versions. But there's a lot of cool art for the Lord of the Pit. He's been around for a while, obviously. So you can get like I don't know. I wouldn't use tokens. I would just get actual copies of Pit Lord, Lord of the Pit, and fool with that.
It's sadly, unfortunately for Warzel, the script sprites only have one art, and it's crap.
Why is Tevis the only black planeswalker that you could play as commander that's good? Frankly, like none of the I mean, you've like the Jund one that's black, right? The Panther guy.
Well, no,
Uh
no, mono black, because it's like, oh yeah, we have
yeah.
the Obnixilis, which nobody plays. We have this new one that nobody plays.
Bro, they just I think they just pushed it with that first commander set, right? Commander Legends the first commander set.
Uh,
I want to say yes. And then there was,
maybe I don't know.
dude, they pushed the shit out of this card, and it is good. Damn, the number of times that I've been able to negative 10, it's like, oh, it's good. Oh, it was really good when you had Mana Crypts. But he's still fine now, I guess. I mean, obviously, if you're using Rograk, you can get him down super early. God, it was good, man. I like Tepish a lot. I'm okay with him being one of the only good ones because they did a bang up job on him. It's almost fine. No real feelings about any of these black legendaries.
All right. Also, going back to the very, very first topic again, because I thought about this, was going to bring it up, completely forgot, and then didn't bring it up, and it's been like an hour. Um, Other thing for ban and unban announcement,
Oh,
I'm hoping they change the hybrid mana ruling because they brought that up previously, didn't do anything with it. Then a lot of people were like, "What the crap?" And I'm hoping that they're going to listen and change it because there's only
we
there's a
wouldn't.
couple
We yeah.
companions that could be a little bit of a headache, and then there's like one card Fiend Artisan that might be a problem, but outside of that, everything's fine.
Yeah, we went over the cards that are potentially good in split symbol, and it's not like the list is long, frankly. Like I don't think it's gonna rock anyone's world if these cards are unbanned.
Yeah,
Or not
or,
unbanned,
are
but
made
or
flexible.
yeah, are made flexible. Anyways,
Um, Next, we got Balefang the Unslayable, which is a fun kind of flavor win card just by its existence. It's
I
5 mana
don't
for a
see
legendary demon
indestructible though.
dragon that has flying trample, protection from angels, and from archons.
Mm-hmm.
Players can't gain life. And ETB, target opponent creates a tapped Baneslayer Angel token that is goaded for the rest of the game. Those who don't know Baneslayer Angel, it is 5 mana for a white 5/5 angel with flying, first strike, lifelink, protection from demons and dragons, which is this card's creature types. Um, I like it because you can twin flame this and then keep printing Baneslayer angels for people, and then you just have
Yeah,
people swinging out left, right, and center with all of their Baneslayer angels beating the crap out of each other. No one's gaining life.
I would love that. This is if this was man, this would have been a really cool Boros commander. Obviously, that's part of the flavor
Yeah,
text. This would have been an amazing Boros commander. That was like abnormal for that part of the color pie. As mono red, it's tougher to have fun with this in that way.
yeah.
Anyways,
Um, Next we got Chira All In, which for those who don't know, this is the lady on that one gamble
gamble,
art,
dude.
and
Yeah, I was gonna
is
say I
in no
have the.
other Magic the Gathering art.
It's you know what's so funny is I love that art so much. It's from Eternal Masters, right?
I think
It's
so.
it's her right here. Chira realized what she thought was the Goblin word for easy probably wasn't. Sorry, that's the flavor text. But I have this art on a playmat because I liked this art so much that this is the gamble I run and this is the art. It's so fun. It's yeah. Anyway, I have the playmat of this gamble over there with Chira. I that's so funny, dude. Is this the first Chira? Is this actually the first Chira?
Yes.
Yeah,
This is one of the cards that they made because they didn't have an actual card for this character yet.
dude, that's so
Um,
dope. That's so dope.
but 4 mana, when you do something random, put a +1/+1 counter on Chira and create a tap treasure token. The random things are discarding one or more cards at random, targeting one or more things at random, choosing modes one or more at random, flipping a coin, rolling a die, and I think that's it. Yeah, flipping a coin or rolling a die. There you go. There are infinites for this, but you need to be an is it. Yeah.
Sorry. Where were we? I think I got this from like an event that we were both at. Well,
Was that in Baltimore?
I
SCG
want to
Con
say
Baltimore, or was that during Command Fest?
one or the other. And anyway, I love the art. It is the gamble
Yeah.
I run, and it's freaking awesome that she's a legend now. I wish some of these were like partners but it's fine. Anyways, we're moving on. I knew I
Uh,
had the mat somewhere
Dragon
behind me though.
Dragon Smile, once per turn, you can omniscience a card from exile. So you can, if it is playable, you can play it for 0. And when this deals combat damage to a player, you impulse draw that many cards off that player's library. Jabs is 3 mana. Triggered abilities of permanents you control but don't own trigger an additional time.
Oh, sorry.
Uh,
Wait. Side
Joven,
note. One side note. I realized that a majority of my Magic the Gathering playmats are of red cards. There's like a Captain Lannery Storm I have back there too. That like for whatever reason I always play with like red playmats, but I rarely play red apart from Neheb, I suppose. But I have the when we were doing the
don't play
ambassadors.
Godo, don't play Magda.
No, no, but I like the red mats. But the leather playmat that Wizards sent us, like, sent a playmat for Lord of the Rings when
Yeah,
we were part of the ambassadorship. That shit is fire. I need to play
yeah.
with that more. Sorry.
Uh,
Anyways, yeah, jabs.
yeah, yeah. So Jabs, I already went over Jabs. Triggered abilities of permanents you control but don't own trigger an additional time. Next, Joven and Chandler, which gotta love these guys. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a number of +1/+1 counters on them equal to that artifact's mana value. And you can pay 3 red and tap to gain control of target artifact until the end of the turn. Untap it and has haste. So hijack. And then Matok Lavamancer. Whenever you deal exactly 2 damage, impulse draw, and you can pay some mana and exile 2 cards from your graveyard to deal 2 damage. And then finally, the unluckiest planeswalker, which is a reference to all of those curse cards from the multicolor commander precon, or Dragon and all those, the
It was
where eminence came from.
always this dude.
And he is a rule breaker, and whenever you can play auras of any color and basics of any type, and this is actually probably the best planeswalker from this entire set that we're going to go over. So I actually want to go over
Wow.
this in detail. He is 2 in a red. He can be your commander. You can up 1 to get 1 mana of any color, and if you spend it for an aura, you make a 1/1 red gremlin token. And you can -3 to discard your hand. If you do, draw equal to twice the number of auras you control. For each aura attached to you, it attaches to an opponent of your choice. The idea of this commander is supposed to be like, haha, you curse yourself and you spread the curses around to other things. The thing you're actually doing with this is that you're trying to use like random auras that aren't going to impact stuff that much so that you can get this out, then immediately uptick, pay 1 mana to enchant an opponent's thing, and then you get a 1/1. Then next turn, you're going to vomit a whole bunch of auras onto that 1/1 that you made, and then you're going to go, okay, I have 4 auras on my guy, 1 on your guy. I'm going to -3, and I'm going to draw 5 cards, or I'm going to draw 10 cards, sorry. And then I'm going to play on and try to do more, and then keep going. And then next turn, I'm going to draw 20 cards and keep going. Unlucky's Planeswalker's kind of nuts.
He is kind of dope. Um, Matic is a
Any
really
other red
cool.
commanders?
No, I like Matic as like a Klasm commander. I will say that Daryl does this better in that's the issue I'm having with a lot of these. I think they're really cool and flavorful, but there are like equivalent legends that do it better. No thoughts on Balefang. Cheer is awesome. I would make her just because. I really loved Lannery Storm from I don't know why. I feel like when I played the Ixalan set, that initial Ixalan set, every pre-release I went to, I swear I pulled like Lannery Storm. I just loved her from then on out, and I'm like, okay, I might as well just
Yeah.
run these red decks. No thoughts on Dragon Smile, but it can be your commander. Jabs seems like a lot of work. Hoban and Chandler, shout out to the boys. There's some old ass legends with amazing art. It's great to see them again. I think the unluckiest planeswalker is a hilarious idea, and I'm glad it's in red.
It is. I do want to point out, he's Wooburg. He's a Wooburg commander. He is Najila. He's 2 in a red. You can play any color auras you want. It is completely fair game, and he mana fixes you for your auras while making the bodies so that you can equip auras onto your own stuff. He does everything you want for a Wooburg commander.
Yeah, the mana fixing is the best part, and also like he's very easy to shoot out. Like we'll say he's too generic in a red, but any ritual will help you get this out. Like a Simian Spirit Guide setup, like you can pump him out very early and start making gremlins. Those gremlins are probably gonna die to well. Uh,
Like you're protecting him with all those one white mana things that say target thing gets protection from X color.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, honestly, now the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, actually, he's probably gonna stick. Skull Clamp in this deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any deck that you can Skull Clamp in, I'm happy about. I also just love the things chasing his ass. Dude, these are some of the scariest abominations behind him. I want
Yeah,
more
he's
cards just to
unluckiest planeswalker. In
yeah.
every single art that he's been in, he's had some like atrociously horrible thing happen to him. He's been attacked by zombies. He's been nearly drowned. He's been mugged by robbers. He's been like beaten by like a whole bunch of soldiers and stuff like that. He's the unluckiest planeswalker.
Mm. Bullet Train was a good movie. With the unluckiest planeswalkers probably named Ladybug. Dude.
Yeah, I get that reference. It is a good movie.
Moving on to green.
I just want to say, Matok, a little bit better than I think you gave him immediate credit for, but more fun than powerful at all. Because I think the new Thor, the mono red Thor that we covered for the Marvel set, is just better Matok. Um, you can damage up one damage things to make it so that they're dealing 2 damage and then draw a whole bunch of cards really quickly. Thor does it better though. Just play Thor. On to green. And green has interesting ones, but nothing that's too crazy. Got a 5 mana commander that makes Dryad Forest Dryad tokens. And it's the land tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah, the land creature tokens. And whenever you tap a land for mana, you get an additional green. It's an ETB to make the token, and this thing has hexproof.
You already got up to 5.
We got Blore.
Kind of neat.
We got Blore the Impervious. He's hexproof, trample, and indestructible, and that's it.
Okay.
We got Glaive, which is pretty expensive, but whenever you cast a permanent spell with X in its mana cost or activate an ability with X in its mana cost, if it isn't a mana ability, you have X become 5. Do this only once each turn. So you get net 5 mana every time you play your first X cost spell. We got Green Sleeves, which makes a Badger token with whenever this becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2. You can -3 to mill 3 cards and put all permanent cards from among them into your hand, and -8 until the end of the turn. Creatures you control are 8/8s with trample. This may be your commander. We got another rule breaker, and it's Mauler, the next evolution, and you may run any creatures that cost 7 or more from any color, and you may play any basics you choose. Whenever a creature you control with mana value 7 or greater attacks, double its power and toughness. And then finally, we got Meat Squeak, Horde Lord. 2 and a green. Whenever a creature you control dies, you create a food token. Trigger this ability only once each turn. For every 7 foods you control, squirrels you control get +3/+3. So you can stack that. You can hoard food, and if you get up to 21 food, your squirrels get +9/+9. So that's an interesting new effect.
Yeah, I like the idea of uh what's it? Something progressively getting more effective the more of
Yeah.
X you have. Like I do like that conceptually. You could probably do some food combos in here and go off. I don't know if that's like the best thing you could be doing in mono green. Mahler says power really matters.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if this is the best power matters deck in the world. I mean, we've seen Gitrog and
Yargle
yeah.
Multani is
Yargle
Multani, Gitrog are like the two ends of power matters.
Yargle Multani specifically though. That shit was fun.
Yeah.
Galava seems interesting. What is this, like your Hydra deck? I mean, it doesn't even have to be that type of permanent specifically.
Shoot lava.
Huh?
7 mana.
It's a lot, dude. A lot of these are expensive. Green Sleeves is 6. This Autumn is 5. Like by the time you get to Autumn, it's like And they need to be land creatures. Come on, man. Let me ramp and do
Yeah,
dumb shit. Like, I don't know. And Blore is kind of Blore is so
Floor's
vanilla, and
there
it's
for the memes.
5. Couldn't you make him like a
Yeah,
5/3? Like I don't know. All of these feel kind of mid. Green.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Green.
Sadly, green is mid.
Yeah.
For the next, we're gonna do multicolor in like I think groups of 8 to keep it palatable and reasonable. Uh,
Well, we could just jump
we got
around instead. Like, if there are notable ones you want to talk about, I don't think we need to talk about all of these.
well, first one's Wooper Guide that just references a lot of old cards. Ashai's Enduring Bond is a legendary sorcery which you can run as your commander, which is just kind of interesting more than anything else.
Hmm.
Um, the chief, at the beginning of your upkeep, you make a 2/2 red goblin token with haste. If you are the monarch, for each token you control, create a copy of that token. So you double up your entire board. So actually pretty scary monarch commander that people have to deal with.
Is that
We got
Davil?
Davil. We got Davil as the next one, which is actually very notable and potentially really powerful. Um, Whenever another creature you control enters, lose a life and gain a black, which is
It's
a reference
Carnival of
to Carnival
Souls.
of Souls.
Yeah.
However, Carnival of Souls says whenever a creature enters, not whenever a creature you control enters. So you will get hurt off of your opponent's playing stuff and you can't always use the mana. Having Carnival of Souls in the command zone, though, turns out it's pretty good. You can do some nut storm stuff with this.
Huh.
Um, Next, and this is one that I think one of my friends is building because this will piss off so many people. Elda, the first non-legendary creature spell you cast each turn has Demonstrate, which for those who don't know, you may copy that spell if you let your opponent copy it as well. So you get to donate a copy of a thing you cast to somebody else so that you can double it up. The
Hmm.
reason why this is atrocious, tax effects. I can play the what's it called? The glow, not freaking. I'm blanking on the name. The flying one. Glow Strider. You can play Glow Strider, which is non-creature spells cost 1 more. Copy it for yourself and copy it for your opponent. They don't get to choose to not cast it. So now non-creature spells cost 3 more, just off the bat. This can do some mean things with stacks.
That would be dope. Separately, just a very quick side note. I really love Davil. Carnival of Souls was one of my favorite cards. No, it wasn't
Yeah.
very good. But I have a custom art card in my Oswald deck that depicts Davil's birthday. Just want to put that out there. He had his arm sliced off in the image.
No,
He's
no.
not doing well, but it is his birthday. Sorry. I
Uh,
also did like a few skits
Next,
on this channel with Davil as a character. You can dig for those. I think they're pretty good.
uh, Faraz does like a little bit of everything, but doesn't do like anything too powerful, too notable. Next, we got a Grizz, which is the Rule Breaker Lands Commander. You can run any land type you want in this deck, and for when he attacks, depending on the type of lands you have, he does a thing. Makes a 1/1 soldier for each planes you control, draws a card for each island you control, makes your opponents lose 1 life for each swamp you control, puts a +1/+1 counter on him for each mountain you control, and gains you 1 life for each forest you control. Basically, this is going to be like a teamer lands matters commander because you want to get your red, your green, and then cram in as many islands as you can so that when he attacks, you draw like 20.
Yeah.
He's probably like an okay enough extra turns commander because he's just kind of like a self-protected Edric.
Yeah. Yeah. Grizzle Gum sounds like a fetish, though. Just the name kind of bothers me.
Next, we have a card that is spiritually built for one of my friends, Homer. Uh, he is black, green, blue for an 09 with a landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, any number of target players each mill X cards, where X is twice the number of crabs, lobsters, nautiluses, starfish, and or trilobites you control. Um, my friend is a mill tribal or like a mill guy. And he loves all the starfish and lobsters and crabs and all the other stupid seafood creatures that you can add in. So they cram both into one deck, which is really good. And this is actually a pretty scary commander. Because if you're running all of the mass land reanimate effects in a deck, you reanimate all of your lands and then mill yourself on each of these triggers with everybody else, then reanimate your lands again to just deck everyone. He does work.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the name of that blue crab that does something similar?
Oh,
Hermit crab?
uh,
Hermit crab?
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, Hedron crab.
Hadrian crab? There's just...
Yeah, there's like two that do it.
Yeah, there's a famous one though. It is this one. It's Hadrian crab.
Yeah,
No, no, it's not Hadrian. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Anyways, that's
yeah.
cool. Crab makes commander now.
Next is Irizura. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 3 cards of your library. Each opponent may secretly choose a number. Then for each number, each player reveals the number. The person who gets the highest number, he deals damage to them, and they may cast a spell from among the ones without paying its mana cost. You put one of the cards not cast this way into your hand. It's basically like Wheel of Misfortune, the minigame.
Mm-hmm.
Not great.
No.
Um, John Doerr is a saddle commander that is basically build your own Toski with a bunch of weird creature types. He's kind of bad. Lina, which is actually a pretty interesting commander. Esper with Shadow, and whenever a creature with Shadow you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. And you can pay 3 mana to put a Shadow counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery.
It's kind of dope.
Uh, kind of dope as just a general Voltron commander, because ignore the whole draw effect. You can just make it so one of your creatures can't be blocked, or make it so your opponent's creatures can't block, because, yeah, you can give your opponent's thing Shadow. And for those who don't remember what Shadow does, creatures with Shadow can only block and be blocked by creatures with Shadow. So somebody plays something to not die to combat damage, and you just give it Shadow and they can't block.
Kind of love that. Yeah, it doesn't need to be something you control. Yeah, so you can get away. Is there a way to reduce the cost of this?
The
Training
activate
grounds
ability,
is training
yeah,
grounds strictly
Training
blue?
Grounds is in blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But even just as a commander that will draw you a card every turn, not too bad.
Yeah, pretty good borderline.
Next, we got a commander based around one of my favorite cards from way back when, the Madcap Jester, which is based around the card, or built for the card Jester Cap. But whenever he attacks, each opponent exiles the top card of their library. Whenever a spell or ability you control causes one or more cards to be exiled from an opponent's library, you may play those cards until the end of your next turn. Mana of any type can be spent to cast those spells. Um, Jester's Cap is a thing that search your opponent's library for, I think, 3, it might be 5 cards, and just exile them. With this, you get to play them.
This is dope.
Yeah.
I mean, Grixis usually gets some pretty crazy shit. This is decent.
Yeah. Next, we have maybe one of the better or best cards in this entire set. We
And
have a
Jeskai.
Misamo. Yeah, Jeskai. Uh, Whenever Misamo or another creature you control enters, exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery card with mana value 1 from your graveyard. If a card is exiled this way, that creature gains. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. If you're running cantrips, this just means that your creatures all get a Toski effect on it, so that you draw cards. If you're running Gamble, you're tutoring. If you're running Flickers, you're flickering. If you're running Name a Thing on 1 mana, removal, go nuts. This commander is just kind of... It does everything, and you don't need any investment to make it work.
No, you do need to connect though, is the only thing. But
Yeah.
3/2, it's probably doable, and you just need creatures to plop into the battlefield to exile those 1 cost spells.
Yep.
That's not bad.
And also, counterpoint, creatures having double strike. You get a multiply up on all of those things, and if any of those things are removal, no one's keeping a board.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Like you just swords of plowshare or something, and then if provided you need it again, you drop another creature to get the ball rolling. Although
Yeah,
there's going to be interesting
fragmentize as
balance.
well, and then blow up all the instants or all the
Yeah,
artifacts and enchantments.
yeah. You'll need to just balance the creature count too. I mean, mind you, you could just also flicker this guy. You're in both flicker colors, so it's not like you couldn't do that. And also, you could leverage the flickers again if they're one cost flickers. So it's good. I mean, you might not do that. Probably not. No, I want to see what the build around is for Massimo. I'm curious. Respectfully, as Moldhound would say, Massimo can get it. Yeah. Stolen strategy effects and Madcap Gesture. Yeah, that would buff.
Yeah.
Those would be buffed. Muckslinger Gang.
Um. Yeah, we got a Muxling Gang, which gives all of your creatures +3/+3 as long as they're not attacking or blocking, and that is anywhere. They get it when in library, they get it when in graveyard, they get it when in hand, they get it when on the stack, they get it on the board as long as they're not attacking and blocking, and they get the buff
Well,
everywhere except when they'd actively use it.
each creature you control gets it.
Yeah, but
When
creature spells you control and creature cards you own in any other zone get +3/+3.
sure, sure. Oh, that's interesting.
So it just buffs everything everywhere
All at
except
once.
for when you would actively use it.
So greater good.
Yeah, some probably greater good effects. Uh, Next, we got the card that people have been asking for forever, Nephilim Epical, or I don't know how to pronounce that. It is a Wooper Commander, and it's an Elder Nephilim. And whenever it enters, you search for Nephilim, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Nephilim you control get +1/+1 for each other Nephilim you control, and cannot be blocked by monocolored creatures. Initially, the Nephilim were all going to be made into legal commanders, but they had too long of a creature type to them. So they didn't do that. Now they made a commander that is basically that.
That's cute. That's a nice little answer for people. Enter search your library for Nephilim card developer. Seems okay. I'd rather play slivers.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Next is just a zombie and cat tribal commander. Doesn't really matter. We're gonna skip it. Um,
Only 5
and we
Nephilim
have a
exist. I mean, I guess changelings would count, but yeah. Sorry. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, changelings could. Changelings are theoretically just the best way of playing that commander because you can do actual scary stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's only 5 Nephilim. Um, we got a Rakala, the Homeroid King, which is a very interesting effect because there's two ways of building this. Either so at the beginning of your upkeep, put a tide counter on it. If there are 4 more tide counters on it, remove it. Creatures you control get +1/+1 for each tide counter on this. When you tap an island for mana, if there are 3 or more tide counters on this, you get an additional blue. The two ways of building this are either A, as a high tide commander, with this as your high tide, and then you do dumb high tide stuff once this gets high enough, or B, as a proliferate commander, where you are going to get a couple creatures out and storm proliferate, so that this thing is going to have like 20 counters on it, and you go, hey, my creatures have +20/+0, die.
Yeah. Such a
Is it a good
noble
idea? No.
such a
It's
noble
funny.
lobster. No, it is. That is kind of funny. Selenia. Sorry. Catch me off guard.
So Selenia is a commander that doubles the life gain you get, and when it dies, you put a curse on an opponent, legendary curse, that says when that player loses life, they lose twice that much life. Unfortunately, legendary curse, you can't stack it, which would be hilarious if you could. It's funny.
Notably, the second Selenia. I remember making a deck around the
It-
first Selenia, just for the pay
Yeah,
life. Yeah,
yeah, to get your life down to 1 to swap it with an opponent.
yeah, yeah. I think I also did
Uh,
something with Villas at the time too.
Noise, noise.
Nice, nice.
Next, the Rakdos commander, that's the planeswalker. Just it's a blood artist. It goads opponent's creatures, and whenever and you can -6 to exile the top 2 cards of an opponent's library and play them without paying your mana cost. It exists. That is in fact a commander.
Hmm.
Um, Tesserhorn is just a big, dumb, indestructible guy that says whenever you sacrifice things, you draw cards, and ETB, you have to sacrifice 3 creatures, pay 3 life, and then target opponent draws 3 cards. He's just good stats with good keywords with a bad effect, but you do get to draw cards when you sack things. We have a meme commander next, and it's only a meme because every time I see it, I keep hearing a stupid GIF sound effect. Tassigan, Raider Warlord, and for those who don't know the skeleton roaring meme of just "Rah!" smashing a
Yeah,
sword
yeah,
against a shield, his face just makes me hear the "Rah!"
yeah.
every single time. Aside from that, pretty good commander. He's Mardu, he has Double Strike, and Start Your Engines. Whenever he attacks, creatures you control get +1/+0 for each creature you control with First Strike or Double Strike, and at max speed, he gets Death Touch, and other creatures you control get First Strike. Meaning that eventually, once you hit max speed, creatures you control get +X/+O, where X is the number of creatures you control, and they get Double Strike, so they're good at blocking. He's just a really good aggro commander.
Yeah, start your engines is kind of a slow effect. I feel like we've established that before, but
Yeah.
it's not
But
horrible.
if you're playing an aggro deck, you play him on 3 and hit, and then you have speed 2 on turn 3. So that's like turn 5, you get max speed, and then you just start being terrifying turn 6.
Yeah, not
And
bad.
there's enough like cheap first strike creatures that he's gonna be scary kind of off the bat.
Ugu.
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 Whenever a non-token ooze you control dies, you get 2 of them, except they aren't legendary. Funny, stupid name, but good. Good card.
Yeah,
Next
you
we
can play
got
the rest well.
Aventer, which is not very notable. Each non-token creature you control that wasn't cast from your hand enters with 2+1/+1 counters. You can flicker things on one effect. You can flicker things on or return things to your opponent's hand on the other effect. He can be your commander. Eh.
Eh, eh.
We got another card that is built for the same friend I mentioned before, and this is a Dimir commander that has Shadow, 3 attack and 6 health, and when this deals combat damage to a player, they mill that many cards, then for each opponent, you get to reanimate a creature that player controls under your control. My friend has been trying to make a mill steal your stuff deck work for so long, and this commander is literally the way to make that happen. And I'm very happy that they made a commander specifically for that archetype so that my friend can do that.
And now you can build a counter.
Yes. Next, we have the card that has been memed and brought up literally everywhere, and probably the entire reason why we even went over this review. We got Witst, the Bibliophile. 1, a white, and a blue. Legendary creature homunculus. Rule breaker. This deck, this is your commander, has no maximum deck size. You can pay 3, tap, and draw a card and gain a life. This ability costs 3 less if your deck has 200 or more cards in your starting deck. The two things this are, I can do Battle of Wits and you're in, which is the fun, reasonable way of doing this. The meme thing that people brought up is the stupid Yu-Gi-Oh meme. Which, for
Mm.
those people who don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh had no deck limit for the longest time, which wasn't a problem. Then a couple judges said, hey, we probably should set some kind of deck limit because there could be problems that could happen. And as Konami was kind of deciding this, some of those judges from that group got together, built a 2,000 card deck, went to a tournament, and every single card in that 2,000 card deck said shuffle in the text. And they basically timed out turn 1 or game 1 of a tournament, and the judge running that tournament said, "Can you guys leave?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, we were planning to. We'll bow out and give the win to this guy. We are just kind of doing this to prove a point." And Konami did change the ruling later. Wasn't entirely because the judges did that, but that's like the meme of the two guys holding the 2,000 card deck in that weird clear deck box. Thankfully, in cEDH, that's not going to be a problem because A, you can be marked for slow play for shuffling too long. And B, you do have to sufficiently shuffle your decks when you shuffle, meaning that you will be eliminated from a tournament if your deck is too big. So there is a limit to this card even in actual tournament play for cEDH. So
So
no worries.
300? Maybe 300?
It
What's
might
the
be
sweet
300
spot?
as long as you can shuffle your deck in I think 2 minutes and reasonably randomize it, you're good. What that number is going to be different for everybody. I have big basketball palming hands, so I can probably get away with a slightly bigger deck than the average person. But yeah,
I don't know that we'll build this, but it
probably
is
not
interesting.
because it's going to be too difficult and time consuming to try to make this deck
Yeah.
an actual deck. It will work. It's just going to be a headache to build it on stream. Next we got a Zorgaka, or sorry, Zagorka, Zagorka, which
Bless you.
is Teamer, Vigilance and Trample. At your end step, each player may create a tapped land card called Sanctum that can tap for 1 mana of any color. Each opponent who doesn't do that, or each opponent who does can't attack you during their next turn. So you give people lands, but they can't punch you.
Sorry,
Um,
Najila.
yeah. Next, we got an interesting rule breaker, which is Everforge. 6 mana for colorless commander that says you can run artifact creatures and artifact equipment of any color identity and basic lands of any type of basic lands. And whenever you cast an artifact creature or an equipment, copy it. Do this only once each turn. Now, a lot of people want Wooburg Matters Artifact Commander. That's cool. The issue is, it's a lot of the things that are good in a Wooburg Artifact deck aren't artifacts. So this doesn't really do the thing you want it to do. However, this is the best mirror commander that we have in Wooburg. And yes, I know we have the specifically designed mirror commander, but being able to double up your mirrors with that second effect
Kind of dope.
actually enables combos and lets you do some cool things.
I like that. I haven't. I don't think I've ever built a mirror deck, but
Yeah.
it seems more accessible now.
Next we got Volko. He's the Wooburg Phyrexian Matters commander.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing notable for him.
Eh,
But thoughts on anything super notable from the that we've gotten so far from the mystery booster thing for you, Patrick? Anything that
no, I mean we
strikes
feel
your
like
fancy?
we've kind of gone over our feelings on most of these as we've gone through them. I would say so far as these legends are concerned,
Probably double
Elda,
in unluckiest planeswalker.
yeah, unluckiest planeswalker so far as the monocoloreds. Yeah, I would fool with Davil just because I like Davil. I feel like they made him way too serious here. He's not that serious in his other art. He looks like a dweeb. If you've never seen Carnival of Souls, he looks
Yeah,
like a complete like fool. This poor
I
guy.
I also
Look at this
just want to
poor
make
guy.
people suffer with Elda, just making it so that it's like, don't worry, everybody's getting tax effects. Suffer.
God, so Davil is the best character they've ever created. I think he's a little too self-serious here. And Massimo seems dope.
Which one is Massimo?
The cat wizard.
Oh yeah. The cat wizard that's gonna be annoying.
Yeah, I'd fool with that. I want to
I'm
see what we could do with Massimo and Davil. I
There
would
have to
probably just fool with
be like
separately.
some 2 mana double strikers in red or white that with Massimo you're just gonna go, I'm gonna exile 2 things every single turn or destroy 2 things every single turn.
Mm.
Have fun.
Is creating Black Lotuses with Arzakon any good?
No. It's the equivalent of making 3 treasures. Down to
Yeah.
make 3 treasures is not bad, but it's just eh.
It's all in one shot, too, is the issue. Which sounds like
Yeah.
a silly thing to say, but I mean, you just cast a Werber commander, so it's like, I don't know how much is this going
Yeah.
to help you? That's cool, though. It seems really dope. Just art wise and thematically, it seems really dope. Also, you get to make Black Lotuses, which you're not going to use actual copies of.
Yeah.
You will definitely not be using actual copies of 2023 Europe Vintage Championship Black Lotus. Is this a real card? The fuck? This is gorgeous. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. We can move on. This looks amazing. I had no idea. What the fuck are what are these? What are these? 2023 North American Vintage Champion. Oh, these are really cool. I didn't know these existed. The 2017 one looks amazing. Anyways,
Next is Reality Fracture, which is I think the next set that's coming out. And for those who don't know, uh, Jace effed with multiverse, and now we got a mirror verse versus the real verse, and Jace is the mad architect behind it all.
Jace is like
Also, he's
the
not Jace
Tom.
anymore. He's the theorist.
Is that what he goes by? What a snob.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he's earned his edginess in this one because he died. He straight up died and got erased from existence, and by sheer force of will brought himself back. Like he willed himself back into existence. So good for him. Actual first time that Jace has been like the most effective character.
I feel like he'd be related to the Batman family. He just looks like an edgelord. It
Yeah,
looks like a
he looks
Nightwing
like
spinoff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Anyways,
there aren't a ton of super relevant cards in here, but there are notable enough cards in here that we can go over them.
yeah.
First is the mono white Ajani, which is kind of egregious. 2 mana for Planeswalker that enters at 2 loyalty. When you gain life, put a loyalty counter on him. +0, gain a life. -4, make an Ajani's Pride Mate token. And then -10, creatures you control get +2/+2 for the rest of the game. It's an emblem. That's just really threatening on a 2-cost commander, or on 2-cost Planeswalker. That's so good.
Sorry, I just got a
Next,
weird call. You're good. We can keep going.
we got Enlightened Confidant, which is maybe the best white card draw effect we've gotten in a long time. 1 to white for a 2/1 with lifelink at the beginning of your end step. If you gain life this turn, surveil 1. If you put a card with mana value less than or equal to the number of life you gain into your graveyard this way, put it into your hand. So you can choose to keep the card on top, or you can choose to mill the card and then put it into your hand if it has a high enough or low enough cost. So it's basically surveil 1. If you don't like the card, pitch it. If you do like the card, keep it on top. If you like the card and you gained enough life, pitch it and immediately draw it back into hand. Good white effect. We got the white Liliana, which is just a Mother of Runes but bad. We got the blue Chandra, which is a thing. The most notable thing is you get an emblem whenever you cast a spell, you draw a card at 6, but she only has +1, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get there. The Theorist is actually a really good card. For 2 and 2 blue, legendary Planeswalker Jace, at the beginning of each opponent's draw step, draw a card. +1, make a 1/1 illusion token. -2, for each opponent, return up to 1 target artifact or creature that player controls to its owner's hand. -6, draw 3 cards, and then put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of cards in your hand. This is 4 mana, likely draw 3 cards immediately, and then maybe draw more later. Make 1/1s to defend yourself. Down tick to remove any of the things that could punch it and set everybody back a little bit. And also potentially alt to just deck people with 10/10s. This just as a Grasp of Fate that bounces instead of Temp Exiles and draws you 3 cards for 4 mana is really good.
Yeah, this is just a lot of effects. This is just a lot of good effects.
Yeah,
So they never really make a bad
you
Jace, huh? I feel like they don't know how to make a bad Jace. They're just like,
the precons are all horrible. They've not made a single good precon Jace.
So Jace lost his memories again on the first stint to Ixalan, joins Roska's crew. They fall in love. Jace gets his memories back and erases Roska's. Then it became will they, won't they. They then got back together after War of the Spark and adopted Loot. What the fuck? They adopted that?
Wait, they got got back together in War of the Spark. They adopted Loot. Vraska's helping
This loot,
Jace do. Yeah, the orange fluffball Loot.
they adopted
Um,
this little fucker. Excuse my
yeah,
language.
they did. They did. Then Vraska left Jace at some point in the story, and then Jace got all depresso espresso. But then he made the freaking Mother of Runes thing from Strixhaven, the Simic card that is a legendary.
Yeah.
He made her out of nothing because he missed Vraska, and she's similar enough to Vraska. And she was his sleeper agent in Strixhaven to betray everybody, and then she inevitably betrayed everybody, so that Jace would have enough stuff that he could go into the spirit world where Ugin and Bolus were to basically rewrite all of reality. That is
Wow.
like the story, basically.
I'm not gonna lie, Vraska's kind of hot in a creepy way. Don't blame
Hmm.
you, Jace. But adopting
Look at
loot, I
the
just
look at the art that has Vraska in it, but is not named after Vraska.
which art is
That's when
that?
you get like art where it's like, oh, this is like her as Jay sees her, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's not super intimidating Braska,
Oh,
it's cute snake waifu.
yeah.
Um,
That's dope. That's I. We're watching the Pirates films. That also just made me want to watch the second one. Pretty bad.
yeah.
Anyways,
Uh, Bloodline Recollector is a bad card. The Black Garuk is kind of a bad card. The other Liliana, the Black Liliana, is really good actually. Whenever creature or planeswalker, another creature or planeswalker you control enters mill 2, and you can exhaust, pay 6 mana to reanimate a thing, and put a +1/+1 counter on Liliana, activate it only as a sorcery. Just creatures ETB mill 2 is actually pretty good for a lot of different decks.
hmm.
Um, we got another Tiny Bones, Patrick, and this Tiny Bones is actually kind of good. He is 2 and a black for a 2/1. ETB, each opponent discards a card. Whenever a player discards one or more cards, Tiny Bones does 1 damage to each opponent. The reason why this is kind of good, if you put a Curiosity effect on him, that's game.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, because you discard the hand size, and then he does 1 damage to each opponent, which draws you 3 cards, and then you
Oh,
discard down
that's
the hand size, and he does 1
so
damage to each
weird.
opponent.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you would. I guess you would win. So he's better than 99, is what you're suggesting.
Yeah. And people have talked about
Um.
putting this in Y'shtola.
Oh yeah, yeah. It also just works. That ping effect works really neatly with the other tiny bones.
Yeah.
Um. But I don't think you're.
Oh,
I don't think you're gonna put that. Maybe you would.
the thing that people have said as like the combo with that Tiny Bones though is Necropotence and then flash effects that just have discard a card attached to it, like a Oblivion Crown.
Mm,
So you just go, okay, have Tiny Bones, Necropotence go down to like 1. Oblivion Crown, discard my entire hand, kill everybody.
that's dope. It's not bad for an uncommon. Like that's a lot of
Yeah.
effect for an uncommon. Any other notable
Uh,
cards to mention from the set so far? I mean, we're gonna give this full coverage later, so.
yeah. Uh, there's not like a ton of other super notable cards, but there's kind of 2 more. There's the Red Johnny, which is he makes 2/2 wizard soldier tokens every single time a planeswalker activates an effect. He anthems and hastes up your boys. You can -2 him to discard your hand and draw for each creature you control, which is pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
And you can deal 4 damage to each creature except for tokens you control as an ultimate. He's just kind of good. He's a board wipe, he's a mass anthem haste, and he also lets you reload your hand. And the final thing is Stingcaster Mage. It's Snapcaster Mage, but it loses splash for haste. It's aggro Snapcaster.
Johnny deals 4 damage to each creature except for tokens you control.
Yep.
It's not even like an ult because it's he could just do it immediately.
-3. Yeah. It could just happen.
Yeah, it's really good. He's 6 mana, mind you. It's pretty good.
Yeah. He's 6 mana, but like he'll reload your hand immediately when he comes out, or wrath the board when he immediately comes out. He does work.
Yeah, the Johnny looks dope. Like it.
All right. Well, for going to the last thing for Star
Hmm.
Trek, There's not a lot of notable stuff from Star Trek yet because they've given us the lower power scale of things because I think they're trying to actively not make Star Trek overpowered so that they don't accidentally go, oh, it's a thing that we have to reprint later on, like
Yeah.
the One Ring.
Yeah. We got
Um,
we got Shocklands in here. I didn't even notice that.
yep. I will kind of give like the brief synopsis of decent things. Captain Catherine Janeway is pretty decent as a play additional lands commander because whenever she or another creature you control enters, you explore and you can play an additional land. So you can kind of do a lot there. And it's a good explore commander.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we have a couple things that are kind of interesting for artifacts, a couple things that are interesting for just general draw and interaction and removal and that kind of thing. And there's one card that has forced me to do math. And I'm not talking about like sitting down and actually
Oh.
like pen and paper doing math. I mean like having to write a mathematical formula to annoying effect. It's Sarian Explorer, which is 3 and a green for 4/3. Dino Scout with landfall gain +2/+2. That's not the headache thing. Pay 6 mana. Create a tapped planet land token named New Planet. It can tap for 1 mana of any color, activate only as a sorcery. The reason why this card is such a headache for me is I have a Sasaya deck, which for those who don't know Sasaya, reveal a hand of 7 or more lands to flip. On the flip side, whenever you tap a land for mana, make an additional mana for each land you control that shares that land's name. All of these lands are named New Planet. If you eventually get to the point where you have a couple new planets, you tap one for 20 mana, making 3 new planets, meaning the next one's going to tap for 23 mana, which means that you're going to, with the 2 remaining floating, make 3 more planets, or make 4 more planets this time. Then you're going to tap for 27 mana, and then so on and so on and so on and so on. So I need to write an equation for Sarian Explorer so that I can easily type into a calculator how many lands I'm going to end up making because I thought like, oh, this isn't going to be that bad. Like it's a pretty reasonable land number, I think, except for the fact that I did the math in an effective enough way later on, and I think I said what was it? I'm trying to find the exact number that I was able to give for this. On turn 7, you have 7,000 or 75,771 new planets. You have 75,000 lands in play on turn 7. I don't even want to do the math for turn 8.
You should do well though after that.
Yes. At that point, you just say, I tap one planet for enough mana and then move on.
Are you playing this?
Probably. It's probably going to be like a 2-cent card because it's a common.
Right. Huh.
But outside of this, there's a couple things from this set that just kind of do some interesting +1/+1 counter stuff, and the most interesting effect I think is Face a Dilemma, which for those who don't know, it is when you use a choose one effect or you pick modes in a spell or ability. There's a couple effects that you can do stuff with this. There's the new vision. 7 of 9 is, I think, the best commander to take advantage of that we've seen so far. But
Which card? What's the
7 of
name
9 with
again?
the vision.
Sorry, what was the name
7
again?
of 9.
Oh,
It's like right next to the card that you were looking at before,
is it really?
the
I'm
planet
sorry.
one.
Oh. I was sorry. I was sort of captivated by the common next to it, which I kind of want to talk about because that's actually
Sure,
really
go for
good.
it.
No, 709 would be fun to build out. I mean, we talked about this in the Discord. She was spoiled a little while back. She's actually not that bad, but set phasers to stun for 1 white instant speed, choose one. Obviously, Oh, I said set phasers to stun. You can set it to stun or you can set it to kill. But situational bolt and tap a creature down and put a stun counter on it, that's actually really good value for a common at 1 mana. Like, again, situational bolt is really good. A lot of instances, like, the creature needs to connect to do a thing. So if you can just kill it in that instance, that's great. And that kills. Bolt is really
That kills it.
good. Yeah, exactly. That kills Timna, it kills Najila. That kills a lot of things. Now, mind you, Najila, well, will get the thing on attacking, but you're kind of still cool with this. Like, there aren't that many direct kill spells apart from swords, and there's not many direct deal damage effects in white quite like this that are modal. That's really good. Obviously, exiling a creature is pretty damn good, but I like that. I didn't know this existed. That's actually really cool flavor as well.
Yeah. And going to what Wolfsbane said, we never got a resolution to Liliana's story. She was Professor Onyx, and then never showed up again. We kind of got a resolution to Liliana's story because, long and short, War of the Spark happened. Then we had what's her name? The ghost, Kaya. Uh, Kaya hunted down Liliana to kind of get the chain veil and get revenge for everybody. Liliana just said, here's the chain veil. I'm planeswalking to a random plane. I'm just going to be out of everybody's hair because I just need to back off and not deal with all of this crazy crap after all this horrible stuff that's happened. I don't want power. I just want to live up my life. She took up a fake alias that was like basically named after Gideon, but she didn't realize it was Gideon's last name for some reason. She became Professor Onyx after that, and she basically just said, look, I fucked up and made a lot of mistakes in my life. I'm going to teach these kids to not make the same mistakes that I've made. And also, there's a whole cult happening here that's endangering these kids. I'm going to be dealing with that. I'm staying out of the way outside of that. I just care about these kids. How do I reach these kids? We got like somewhat of a climax with the Liliana story with everything that's been happening with Fractured Reality, because long and short, what's her name? Jada, the lady that had the 8 mana thing that you could pay 1 Magecraft to play the top card of your library. She got kidnapped by Jace because she had the ability to kind of make illusions into reality. And Jace is like, I need that along with the soul crystal gem thing in the spirit world to remake reality into a perfect reality where nothing goes wrong. And Liliana tried to prevent that from happening, but got caught in the crossfire and couldn't stop it.
So, micro resolution.
Pretty much, yeah. We had a climax for her story, but it wasn't like her story's over. She's still around and kicking and stuff. I will say though, the one thing I am looking forward to in Reality Fracture that I think might happen, I think we're getting Gideon back. I would not be surprised if we got a Gideon in this set.
Yeah, they'll probably spoil that later. Also, the Crater Claw
Yeah.
Colossus is kind of notable as like an artifact based Crater Hoof, but not like
Yeah,
as good as Crater Hoof.
the biggest issue is that with Crater Hoof, your creatures got the buff from having creatures, but with the Crater Claw, your creatures are getting the buff for having artifacts, meaning you need to have a lot of 2 separate things.
Yeah. Where's Dockside when you need him?
Yeah.
And then it'd be very good. But it covers everything. I get the only other thing that I looked at that looked notable immediately was Salt Vampire. But I mean, mind you, it's only one opponent, but making them exile a non-land card then draws a card. Oh, never mind. I thought you drew the card. I'm like, that's pretty fucking
No.
great. This is pretty awful. Never mind.
I wouldn't even say it's awful. It's still decent hand
Playable. It's
disruption.
just duress, man. I don't know. I agree though. It
It's
is.
better duress, because duress is
Oh, it's
like
yeah.
specifically creature or non-creature or something like that.
Mm.
This hits anything and gives your opponent a draw, and it's on a body, which, by the way, not even a bad body. 2/2 lifelinker is actually pretty good. And if you can flicker this, you can really tear apart people's hands.
Mm.
Because best part is, it's not discard. It is exile. That card is gone. It's not coming back.
That's true. Not horrible.
Yeah, Jadzi,
Um,
Jadzi. That's
Jaws, yeah, I brought it up. Brought it up.
what's her name? There's another card. I want to bring up the person that Jace created. Um,
It's not loot. I'm just kidding.
no.
I just like that Jace and Vraska adopted loot. Like that's such a weird.
Tam. So Jace made Tam Mindful First Year, who is basically like this person that he made as his daughter, who's basically supposed to also be similar to Vraska, and he made her to break into Strixhaven as a student, and then eventually kidnap Jadzi.
What?
Because
Should
he's like Liliana's gonna stop me. She's there. She knows me. I need somebody else to gain their trust, get to Jadzi, and then kidnap Jadzi. So he made another living being, but was so obsessed with the fact that Vraska left him that he's like, she's the only thing I can think about. So then he made Tam, who looks similar enough to Vraska.
that's creepy. Jace is a little weird.
Yeah,
Any
I'm
rate,
to be fair. He completely rewrote reality because Lord knows fucking why.
what? Okay. But no, I can't say I'm as excited for Star Trek, although I did enjoy the Jean-Luc Picard stuff. Jace has been tweaking since his girl left him. Yeah, clearly. I am very excited for Reality Fracture or Fractured Reality. What is it? Reality Fracture? Fractured Reality.
Uh, it is reality fracture.
Wow. Okay. Then why is the card FRA, like Fractured Reality? But
Yeah,
it is in fact Reality Fracture. Okay, I guess they're just going for Fracture FRA. Dude, I'm excited for
crack.
both of these sets that we discussed prior to Star Trek: the Commander Mystery Booster and the Reality Fracture. Excited to see
Yeah, the fracking.
more. Yeah, yeah.
Can that be what we call this event instead of it being like, oh yeah, Jace's reality fracture? It's like, no, it's the fracking.
God. Yeah, you can. You're more than welcome to. Ooh, wow, there's some good art for this Jace already. Wow, they spoiled it. They spoiled it.
Yeah,
God, he's
it's
such an
all the
edge lord.
different dimensions. We got anime, and more anime.
Yo, no, the one where he's ripping a hole into the card and like coming through and then coming through and then coming through and then he's also
Yeah,
off to just the fucking side, which I think is probably like the real him. That's dope as shit. This is the one you need. This art looks
yeah.
amazing. Oh,
Also,
that's so
we
good.
have we have a spoiler of not the card, but that this card exists. One of the precons is a four-color Jace Planeswalker in the command zone for this set, and it's every color but black. So he's ink.
You think it's gonna be good?
Or sorry, every color but green. Every color but green. Sorry. That's your.
I'm into it. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how I feel about the anime ones, but I like this other one off to the side. All right, guys, what are your favorite cards from these sets? Any other additional thoughts on the mana abilities change? I know someone was asking about our thoughts on ways you could leverage it with Ashnod's Altar, and this was a while back. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. We kind of, it was a while in, and I didn't have a chance to actually look at it. But you can bring it up in the VOD, or we can bring it up later in Discord if you're on there, and we can definitely talk about it. But yeah, let us know what you'd like to see banned, unbanned, what you're going to do with the mana abilities, if anything. I mean, if you play that Zavala, let us know. And favorite cards from all of these sets. Well, any closing thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Uh, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do in October or whenever in the fall that they're going to be doing the bans and unbans. I I'd be happy if they unbanned Yawgmoth's Bargain and maybe Flash, and it'd be cool if they banned Thorkel. It's been around too long. It's been the combo for too long. If I would not be surprised if somebody took the statistical analysis of how cEDH games ended, and more than a third of them ended in Thoracle. That that would be
On,
like, oh yeah,
only a
no
third?
duh.
Only a
It
third?
probably more than a third, but
Yeah,
there's enough there's enough random commanders that do their own thing well enough that I think that like it would potentially bump it down to closer
true,
to below half.
true, true. But you want the Oracle band, is what you're saying.
Yes, I don't like Thoracle.
Okay. On
I've
that note,
I've built
guys,
Thoracle, I've played Thoracle, I've done so many things with Thoracle. It doesn't need to stay around.
the
I'd be
Grixis
happy if
Ashnod.
Dockside came back though, but
Ashnod the
not my type.
Uncaring. Ashnod the Uncaring. Yeah, whenever you activate an ability of an artifact or creature that isn't a mana ability, if one or more permanents were sacrificed to activate it, you may copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. Did we talk about this?
No, not specifically that Ashnod, but that's probably one of the better ways to abuse like the eggs specifically.
Right, 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 right,
Um,
right.
but yeah, there's things you can do because there's no infinite there, but that's doubling up. That's turning all those eggs into net mana, which in like some kind of artifact KCI loop deck is probably good enough. Um, there's stuff that you can do with that Ashnod.
Yeah, we'll take good enough here.
Yeah,
We'll
I
take
mean,
good
heck,
enough.
if you just even did that Ashnod with the eggs and Scrap Trawler, that's probably in Storm Infinite. Like it's not actual infinite, but you're probably going to hit an artifact that gets the egg back, and the egg draws you two more cards and makes you 4 mana, and then you repeat, repeat, repeat.
Should we build Ashnod Uncaring?
No,
Okay. All right, guys, you heard it here
I
first. Will said it is mid. I'm sorry. But we could do like a, I don't know, a bracket three.
see what I'm doing is I'm building the raft steer from Lord of the Rings to rebuild Tatiova and make my friends regret being friends with me because I'm just gonna use the elvish scouts that say like tap put a land from your hand into play with the raft steer to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
landfall untap a creature to put every land from my hand into play
Oh
while drawing
god,
cards off Tatiova.
I kind of
I'm
love
just gonna use
that.
one tutor to take a 20-minute turn.
That's not bad. That's not egregious. I think they just scoop at that point, right?
Yeah.
That's nice too. But then you can get another game in. Your friend should be thanking you.
Yeah, exactly. At least I'm not making 75,000 lands with that new card from Star Trek in my side attack.
Yeah, I guess we have time for that though. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on this one. We'll see you next week, likely with the brew. We'll figure out what we do. There's so much coming out.
Probably
I
Bilbo.
probably Bilbo. We should do some things from The Hobbit. We've got time. But till then, catch you on the flippy floppy.